Welcome to Module 4 of the TERRA program, Normalizing Failure. In this module, we will explore how biomedical research programs can help normalize rejection and failure, recognizing them as inherent and valuable parts of the scientific process. We will discuss the imposter phenomenon, how the prevailing academic culture shapes our expectations of research success, and present strategies to promote acceptance of failure in biomedical research, cultivating a supportive environment where mistakes are embraced as opportunities for learning. First, let's talk about imposter phenomenon. Imposter phenomenon describes high-achieving individuals who, despite their objective successes, fail to internalize their accomplishments and have persistent self-doubt and fear of being exposed as a fraud or imposter. Key components of imposter phenomenon include the imposter cycle, perfectionism, superheroism, fear of failure, denial of one's own competence, and fear and guilt about success. The hallmark of imposter phenomenon is a disconnect between objective evidence of competence and one's internal sense of competence. Imposter phenomenon in biomedical researchers can manifest as feeling unworthy of authorship, awards, or grant funding, viewing manuscript or grant rejection as evidence of personal inadequacy, rather than a routine part of science, believing peers understand science better than you do, interpreting normal uncertainty in research as incompetence, and feeling that one must know all the answers despite working in a field defined by unanswered questions. Now let's explore how academic culture influences expectations of research success. Biomedical researchers and programs often focus on securing tenure-track positions in academic institutions as a primary outcome of success. This can lead to a misperception that most postdocs are able to secure a tenure-track position within 10 years of receiving their PhD, and thoughts that if you don't pursue an academic faculty position, you are a failure. However, in reality, biomedical PhD graduates have diverse career options, with around 75% finding roles outside traditional academic faculty positions in industry, government, nonprofit, policy, communication, and other sectors. Success in the biomedical research field doesn't solely mean landing a tenure-track academic role. Programs need to support trainees going into diverse career paths. Trainees and faculties often believe that successful researchers get every grant they apply for. In reality, in 2024, the success rate for an R01 grant was 19%, or 1 in 5. This makes rejection the norm rather than the exception. The CV of failures, a concept presented by Melanie Stephan in a 2010 article in Nature, advocates for scholars to openly discuss their setbacks alongside their successes, fostering a more authentic academic narrative. Johannes Haushofer, in his CV of failures, presents this interesting fact. This Starn CV of failures has received way more attention than my entire body of academic work. Now, let's explore interventions to normalize failure in biomedical research programs. We'll discuss both lab level and department level interventions. Key strategies to address failure at the lab level include a CV of failures. As mentioned before, this emphasizes that rejection is common in research. PIs sharing their rejections. PIs can share their own unfunded grants and manuscript rejections, illustrating that even successful researchers encounter setbacks. And failure rounds at lab meetings. You can allocate 10 to 15 minutes to discuss unsuccessful experiments and unexpected results, focusing on lessons learned rather than defending the experiment. Departments can normalize failure through a panel of failures that features respected researchers discussing common rejections in research. We'll go into this in detail over the next couple of minutes. Also, Internal grant mechanisms can provide funding for experimental pilot projects with a high risk of failure and bridge funding for pivots. Also, department-wide grant rejection discussions can involve sharing score sheets and critiques from reviewers, emphasizing resubmission strategies and emotional normalization. Here are some tips for hosting a panel of failures. Panelists should be objectively successful, well-respected researchers. Panelists can share rejected papers, worst grant reviews, and projects that consumed years without publication. This should be an annual panel with different panelists each year. And you can gather feedback from participants on how to make the panel better for the next time. A panel facilitator guide and assessment survey questions will be available in the TERRA guide. Failure is defined as a lack of success in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. While this definition is simple, understanding that failure is a part of the journey is essential. Albert Einstein said, "Failure is success in progress," urging us to see failure as a stepping stone to growth. Each failure provides lessons that foster resilience, innovation, and personal development. We should promote an environment where failure is viewed as a natural part of the journey to success. You have completed the module. For additional information and resources, please consult the TERRA guide. This module is part of the Training to Enhance Researcher Resilience and Adaptability Program, or TERRA, funded by the National Institute of General Medical Sciences.